What up? It's your boy Codename Duchess. We are going to go over how to make a better showdown lineup, how to strategize your lineup to help you win games before you even start the game. But before we do that, I need you to do me a huge favor. I need you to hit that subscribe, smash that like, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok. Well, let's go get it. All right, so we are going to go over how to build a better lineup for Showdown. This isn't going to be like, take this card, take this card, take that card, use, go buy yourself Opal Wimby, must have 100 Kristaps, build yourself a better lineup that way. This is going to be how to build your lineup strategically and what you should be looking at when you're coming into Showdown here and what you're going to be doing to try to get more wins. So this is my Showdown lineup. It raises some questions sometimes, so I'm going to explain why I have it the way that it is. Okay? One, this is my first five, obviously starters. Second five here, Kyrie, Tracy, LeBron, AD, Wimby. These last three spots, we'll get into them. Okay? So your starters should be players that you play well with right off the bat. And that sounds weird as a video game, but there are certain players that I just feel like when I start out the game, these are my quick hitters. So my strategy here with this lineup, my best cards are not necessarily in my starting lineup. Kyrie is honestly a better point guard than Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway is not that great a defender. I put a lot of emphasis on defense. He is not that great of a defender. He is long and he is athletic, and that helps him defend, but he is not. Kyrie is honestly the better point guard. It sounds shocking. Kyrie actually has really good defensive stats to defend that point. 97 steal, 92 perimeter, versus Penny, who does not have those amazing defensive stats. He does have some really nice athletic stats, but even then his vertical is only 88. What he does have going on is that he is 6'7". Okay, so Penny though starts because Penny is my better offensive scorer. Okay, so we have Penny here. He's a really good offensive scorer. Kawhi is probably my best defender, so he's going to come out here with my worst defensive point guard so that Kawhi can be my stopper. Okay, this might get lengthy, but follow me here. Jason Tatum, I shoot really well with. I don't ask him to do a whole lot. I don't ask him to handle the ball. Wilt Chamberlain, he finishes really well near the rim. His shot is ugly, to say the least. A little bit difficult to get down. And David Robinson, I cannot wait to replace him, but he is a big bruising body. So, think of your lineups as two different lines. Think of this as hockey. Okay? So first line, I have a really good offensive player, a really good defensive player, a really good spot-up shooter, two really solid rebounders, good scorers inside, can occasionally hit the three. But Penny's going to do most of my scoring. Tatum's going to do most of my shooting. Okay, so I feel like people ask me all the time. They asked me last year. They asked me this year. Why isn't like LeBron in your starting lineup? Why isn't Wimby in your starting lineup? If I'm so in love with Kyrie and I think that he's a better point guard than Penny, which as a player, I'm more in love with Penny, Orlando legend. But Kyrie is the better point guard. He does more for me. Why aren't these guys in your starting lineup? Okay, coming off the bench, we have Kyrie, who is the better defensive point guard. We have McGrady, who is a better scorer. So if you notice the theme here, my 1-2, Penny's the better offensive player, Kawhi's my defender. Kyrie's the better defender, Tracy McGrady's the better scorer. LeBron James is probably my best one-on-one scorer, period. He's like a tank going to the rim. Why isn't he in the starting lineup? Well, because Penny is going to handle the ball for me in the starting lineup. He's going to do most of the going to the rim work. Jason Tatum's my best shooter in the starting lineup. And then Kawhi, like I said, best defender, really good spot-up shooter. There's only one ball in basketball. I don't know if you're aware of that. Just to make sure that you are. There's only one ball. So there's no point in me having my two best one-on-one scorers in LeBron and Penny on the same line. There's no point in having, because then when I come to the bench, I have Tatum, who's a decent one-on-one scorer, but he's not my best or my second best. And I don't have I want to have my two best on-ball scorers, ball-dominant scorers, in the game at different times. I don't want to have my two best defenders or two best guard defenders in the game at the same time in Kyrie and Kawhi. I want to split them up so that I'm still playing good defense at all times. And then McGrady is here. Good spot-up shooter. We've honestly been playing Brandon Roy more. But McGrady gets the nod and gets he gets the bump for being my favorite player of all time. So, AD, a little bit smaller than Wilt. And Wemby is honestly a better center than David. But Wilt is the better power forward. So when I go into Showdown, and this is my lineup, my strategy here, starting lineup, hold serve. This is my second best scorer on ball, second best scorer with the ball. Two really good shooters, solid finisher, decent jump shot. So when I come in, this lineup, the starting lineup, even though it's not my best cards, this lineup can hold its own with any starting lineup crew, and I'm usually pretty close at the end of the first quarter. And then when we go to the second quarter, we have our best on-ball scorer, we have our best center, and we have some decent role players around them playing against second unit guys, which usually aren't as good. So LeBron is getting a second unit defender, Wemby is getting a second unit center. Why am I explaining that so much? When you build your lineup, you don't want to throw all your punches at once. It makes no sense. If LeBron and Penny were out there on the floor together, and Wemby is out there with them, I'm going to come to the end of the first quarter. There's my best three scorers. Penny, LeBron, Wemby. Start of the second quarter, they're all a little bit gassed. We're getting down there. Mid-second quarter, we're down into like the 60s on stamina. I'm going to have to sub them all out, and now I don't have my 1, 2, or 3 option out there at all. So, does that make sense? When you build your lineup, don't just throw all your best cards in at once. Space them out. Plan ahead. Okay. I'm going to get 10 points from Penny in the first quarter. Okay. Second quarter, I'm going to get 8 points from LeBron, and I'm probably going to get 8 or 9 points from Wemby. That is my strategy going in. Usually works out. I want to say that I win. I'm going to say like 70% of my games. Sometimes, yes, if you come into stream, it might look like I'm getting frustrated and I might be losing. And sometimes I'll let the frustrations get to me. But I win 70% of my games following this strategy that I'm not going to throw all my best punches at once. So when you build your lineup, don't just try to put all of your best players in there at once. Try to build them in a way and plan for the fourth quarter. Okay? So, with that said, this is my lineup. All right? Penny, Kawhi, Tatum, Wilt, David Robinson, start. That doesn't necessarily mean that's who's going to finish. My high school coach used to tell us all the time, it's not about who I have start the game, it's about who I have finish the game. So, my finishers, depending on who is hotter, Penny or Kyrie, depending on if I need offense or defense. Kawhi, lockdown. LeBron is going to be here. Wemby is going to be in. And then it depends. Has AD been hot? Has Wilt been hot? I might even do this so I can get more shooting in. I might put Tatum in. That might be my finishing lineup. But because I'm not running all these guys at the same time, I can plan in the middle of the game that I need to rest these players. Does that make sense? So this is how I build my lineup. We'll go put it back to what it was. Okay, so my best players are not necessarily in my starting lineup. A couple of them come off the bench so that I can space out my hits. So I'm throwing haymakers the whole game. Not just in the first quarter, not just with my starters, I'm not running in starters, best players. Let's try to get them all the ball. They're all going to get about 3 shots apiece. No. Penny is taking 5-6 shots. Tatum's taking a couple. Second quarter comes along. LeBron is dominating the ball. He is getting to the rim and he is creating for other people, or he is dunking the ball. Okay? That is how I build my lineup. I try to do the same thing in salary cap, but obviously it's harder because you have less players. We'll do a video going over the strategy for that. These last 3 spots. Okay. So these last 3 spots, I see a lot of people put golds in here, and I don't understand why. It does not affect your matchups anymore. This was a 2K 2021 thing, a little bit in 22, where if you kept your overall of your team down a little bit, you can get easier matchups, and you accomplish that by throwing golds in here at the end. And so it's just become this habit. People believe that it works. It doesn't. I play teams all the time that have golds in these last 3 spots. It doesn't help you at all. Fill this spot, I suggest, with a point guard, a versatile big, and then an off guard. Unfortunately, in 2K, for whatever reason, for as much as we spend on these cards, they give us injuries, and it is the most annoying thing ever. Don't understand why my players have to get hurt after I've spent so much money to get my players. So, point guard, shooting guard, in case one of my 1 or 2s get hurt. Versatile big, in case one of my bigs get hurt and I got to move people around. And then a wing player, in case one of them gets hurt and I got to move people around. So don't fill these last 3 spots with golds. Fill them with actual players that might play. Don't listen to me on the ratings of cards either. If you like D-Wade, I know that he's a better rated card than Kyrie. I like Kyrie. He's smooth, jumper's easy, solid on defense. But this is how I build my lineup. I hope this helps. I hope that this was understandable. Sometimes I have a hard time putting thought to word. So I hope that helps. I've given this strategy out a couple times on stream when people have asked me about it. It just, like I said, look at the history of the NBA. There we go. That's what I'm going to do. Look at the history of the NBA. All of the great teams have had a 6th man. My 6th man happens to be LeBron James. It's a pretty damn good 6th man, to be honest. It's a pretty unstoppable card. So, make sure that you're putting in some balance, that you're putting in cards that work together, that your best offensive players aren't all on the floor together, that you have a mix of offensive and defensive players, and that necessarily your best players aren't always on the floor together until those last couple minutes of the game when you need to close that thing out. And I guarantee you, if you follow that strategy, you will have an advantage in the 2nd quarter. You will have an advantage in the 4th quarter. And honestly, that's when games are won. 2nd quarter, you can kind of blow them out. You can get them a little demoralized. 4th quarter, if it's a close game and you come in with your best players and they're all fresh to go, ready to rip, roar, and roll, you're going to pull away. And that's what happens most of the time. 1st quarter, even. 2nd quarter, we're pulling away. 3rd quarter, we're kind of keeping even. I'm trying to keep my lead. 4th quarter, we're pulling away again. So that is my strategy for Showdown when it comes to my record or to my roster. Hope this helps. I've had several people come in and stream and tell me that it's helpful, that they've switched it and they're like, wow, now I see this balance and I don't have dead spots in my game where I'm just not getting any offense created. So that's all I got for you in this one, though. Do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe, smash that like, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok. And as always, I hope y'all have a good night, and I'll catch y'all next time.